What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Real Res Talk. My name is Sam, and joined by Shreyas, and we're here with your transfer show. Shout out to everybody in the chat already. You're already populating it. We know you are. Appreciate your support as always. Shreyas, first of all, temperature update in India, where we're at. What are we on now?
We are at 32 degrees right now.
Right, still too hot. No, I can't do with that. Needs to come down a bit, and then we can deal with that. Yeah, how we do, Shreyas? We all right? It's been a bit quiet. United done it a little bit lately. A little bit quiet.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of fireworks the past weekend. So I think even the club thought that maybe we should just
Chill out.
slow and just chill things down a bit. We can't be signing the entire transfer window within one day itself. Let's calm things down a bit. We've still got a lot of time left.
Yeah.
But there are still a lot of developments happening, right, left, and center. Because every time I, actually go up to X or any other site just to, catch up on some updates, there's something else or the other. We're getting linked to a completely different player.
Yep.
We're getting, apparently we sent bids to a completely different player as well. That players we've not really even heard about.
Personal
so it's still quite
agreed with people.
yeah. So it's like if a person misses like 6 to 7 hours of Manchester United updates, they miss something quite big for the first time, because up until now in the past season we knew what's going to happen, not just on a daily basis but on a weekly basis, that this week it's going to be monitoring, next week it's going to be very close,
interested in,
more interested, bid rejected,
yeah,
second bid rejected, third. Then we know how it used to progress till deadline day. But this time it's actually quite a bit of a change, because you just never know who we're actually going to end up going for at the end of at the end of the deal. So it's quite exciting. It's quite interesting as well, with the kind of names and the kind of players and deals we're exploring, which is quite a good change of pace for us. So just very excited, and I just don't for the first time, I just don't know how this squad will actually be looking like by the time this transfer window ends and the season actually kicks off. This squad might be looking very, very different in comparison to how getting started in this transfer window.
Yeah, it's very true. Like, there's so much happening, and like I said, we'll try and cover as much of it as possible here. But obviously, if I do miss something, I'm sorry. There's so much news. There's so much little bits that I probably will miss something. So, but don't leave it in the comments. Let me know, and we can definitely touch on it another time. Right, first big story: Jadon Sancho possibly leaving to PSG. Apparently, they have agreed terms on a personal deal. It's from Santi Auna or Awana. I'm not sure of his name pronunciation. So he's got some stuff right in the past, but other times he's spitting a little bit of bullshit. So let's take it with a pinch of salt. First question: does this make sense for PSG in terms of a player caliber and a player signing? Second question: if we were to let him go, what sort of money do we need to be asking for?
I think if we do let him go, 30-35 million, I think, is the bare minimum, considering how much we actually invested in him. I think 30-35 million is the bare minimum that we should be going for. Except that, I would say, from PSG's perspective, like if I was a PSG fan, I wouldn't be really excited about this deal, because considering the setup that they've got right now, they've got the likes of Zaire Emery in midfield. They've got the Fabian Ruiz, Carlos Soler. I think they're going for João Neves as well. It's practically done. So that's another signing that they're getting in. And in the attack, they've just lost Kylian Mbappe. They've just lost someone who practically guarantees you 40 goals a season in a PSG shirt. So to replace that, if you're getting someone like Jadon Sancho in, first off, he doesn't really, I would say, guarantee you as many goal contributions as Mbappe does, or even the half of it.
Do you think he does better in the French league than he does in the Premier League?
I think he can do a lot better. Definitely, I think he can do a lot better in the French league. But will he be able to, do as much as to actually impact the overall performance of the PSG team? Like if he moves to PSG, will he be the one who will be the match winner in that team? I don't think so. I think there are other players who've got, I would say right now, much better momentum. They've got much better caliber in that league, much more experience in that shirt. And except that, with the kind of players that PSG have been linked with, I just don't think that Sancho fits into that sort of new system that they've come up, with.
Young players,
I just don't.
They're going for like youth and development, like Xavi Simons has been re-signed and stuff.
Yeah, even when they're going for young players, they're only going for young players who, come with that tag of, are going to be the next big thing, are going to be the next big thing. Sancho doesn't fit that category right now. Absolutely not. They were linked much more strongly with Osimhen, which seemed, like a more concrete and I would say a much better buy. Like if they had to go in for just one attacker and you had to choose from Osimhen or Sancho, especially for a club like PSG, I would say you need to go for Osimhen because he does offer you a lot more than what Jadon Sancho will offer you. At least, from what I'm seeing right now. But if it does work, from a United perspective, it works to our favor. If we can actually, offload Jadon Sancho, someone who's on like 350K a week, and on top of that, get
the wage. That's the big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it, frees up like 30-35 million on top of that, creates room for another signing. Maybe we can go in for an attacker. If not an attacker, maybe we can go in for another defender or a midfielder who had more depth to it. Yeah, exactly my point. So we all know that there are a lot of holes in our team. Like genuinely, there are a lot of holes in our team, and I'm very well prepared that it's going to take it, at least 4 to 5 transfer windows just to get that concrete foundation and set up absolutely into this team. I'm more than well prepared for it. But if something can be done to speed up the process that doesn't hamper the growth of this team at the same time, I think it does fall into our wheelhouse.
Yeah, you just think with Jadon Sancho, I think it's always the Ten Hag and him have worked things out. He's back in the squad. He looked all right against Rangers. I'm not going to say he looked world class, but he looked okay. Yeah. And everybody thought, right, he's staying. Like, let's see what happens. And then this kicks off. You're just like, fucking hell. Just Jadon Sancho is always the story, isn't it? It's always the fucking story. It's just like it never stops. It never stops. But we'll move on. Matthijs De Ligt. Christian Falk reported Bayern Munich have rejected a 29 million offer from Manchester United for Matthijs De Ligt. Bayern Munich are demanding 42 million plus add-ons. Negotiation between the clubs continue. I believe it. Let me just double check what the price, because I'm sure it was 29 plus something. Yeah, 29 plus 2 million in add-ons from United. They want 42 million. So negotiations are continuing. It's not like a Branthwaite deal where they're asking for a ridiculous price and there's no sort of meeting in the middle. With this deal, it's been dragged on a little bit. Obviously, Bayern want to buy Jonathan Tah from Stuttgart, and obviously they can't do that until Matthijs De Ligt goes. Do you see any sort of negotiation happening here, where Bayern come down a little bit, and then we pay, say, I don't know, 33 million plus add-ons, and then we get a deal done here? Or do you think Bayern are going to stick to their sort of, no, this is the price and this is what you're going to pay?
Any other season, I would have said that Bayern would stick to it. But considering the situation even they are in right now, I think it was they had publicly pretty much announced that they have to sell to buy new players. And Jonathan Tah is someone who's been on their radar for quite some time. I think there is another player called Ito that they signed for that centre back position or back position. So look, they are making moves and they do want Jonathan Tah in. I think Leverkusen actually signed a replacement already, to actually replace him. So he will be moving this season from Leverkusen. So if they do want to facilitate that move, they need to let go of De Ligt. And if we can actually cut down that fee even more. Like if we can actually get someone like De Ligt in for like 30-34 million as a complete package.
He's taking a wage cut anyway, isn't he? So
he's already taken a wage cut, and if you can cut down on the deal a lot more, it does favor us a lot more because you're getting someone who's got a shitload of experience. He's also got a lot, I would say, he brings a lot to the team. He's got that leadership quality in him. Of course, he's worked under Ten Hag before, and he's still only 24 years old. And you're, able to get him around that fee of 30-34 million. It's a very, very good deal. And I would say in any other season, like if this was a different body of the Glazers that was operating, if it was
65 billion, isn't it?
65, 70, 80, 85, it would have gone easily up, up to that mark. And this deal would have dragged on till the last week of the transfer window. But since it's a different body, the difference you can easily see the difference with with the first two deals itself. So they do know what they're doing, and I think even they know that De Ligt. I think even Ineos do understand that this squad definitely needs another veteran centre back, and they do need someone who can be good enough to be a starter for this team week in and week out. And I think if it's not De Ligt, they'll still go in for someone quite promising in that centre back department. So if it is De Ligt, I would be more than happy. I think he can bring a lot to this team, and perhaps definitely it's a gamble. But if it works out, then you've got another centre back who can play at the top level for at least another 6 to 7 years.
Yep.
So it's a good deal, and I just hope that it works out for us. Even if it doesn't, I've got faith in this system that they've already identified other players to actually move on to if this deal doesn't really go our way.
Well, they are already moving on to deals in the midfield, so we're going to talk about Wesley Fofana next, because obviously Ugarte is slowing down at the minute, but Wesley Fofana might be a backup. Before we do that, I'm going to just go to the comments. Chivy, 30 million is a fair price, but wouldn't be mad at 27. It's a huge weight of the wage bill. I think that is in reference to Jadon Sancho. Richard Hawkins, 30 million. Please hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Absolutely, Richard. Thank you for telling everybody. That's exactly what we want. My story is not Jadon Sancho, it's Toby Collier. I think he will be the next Kobe Manu. I mean, yeah, I like Collier. He looks really impressive, really impressive. Chivy is saying Collier is a gem. Absolutely. Love the way Ineos got into these deals a year ago. Who would have opened De Ligt negotiations at 65? See, even Chivy knows. Even he knows.
Exactly we would
have. Yeah, makes it such a refreshing change. Hard to take it in. Yeah, I'm not used to it. My damn United. I'm just not used to it. It's like we're operating like an actual club rather than just overpaying. It's weird, isn't it? Really weird.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're doing something right. You're doing something right when all the other clubs are riled up. Arsenal fans are riled up. Fans are riled up. You're doing something
Everton
right.
fans.
Yeah.
I love him. I just think Kobe Manu is so composed on the ball. I think he's Toby Collier. But yeah, I agree with that. We definitely need to do a video on Toby Collier because I think he's excellent. But yeah, sticking with Bayern Munich and sticking with a Dutch connection because it seems like Ten Hag is just trying to rebuild an Ajax squad at this point. Nusa Matswari, he came out literally about 30 minutes ago, I believe. It was like the news popped off. United and West Ham are interested in Nusa Matswari. A realistic price sits at 12 to 16 million. Contract talks took place this week. Matswari is at the top of the list for both clubs. He's keen to play in the Premier League. Bayern Munich are pushing for 20 to 25 million euros. Most realistic price is 15 to 20. First of all, Shreyas, what do you think of this deal? Say Wan-Bissaka does go, and it seems like he might go if we're looking at right backs, to replace him with Matswari. You happy with that deal, or would you prefer to keep Wan-Bissaka?
Personally, I would prefer to keep Wan-Bissaka because I think that his defensive approach and his defensive side of the game is so strong. Arguably, I don't think that there is genuinely anyone better when it comes to his defensive ability as a right back. I don't think that there's anyone who matches him. But from the looks of it, it does look like he's going to be moving on. And even from Ineos's perspective, it looks like that he's going to be moving on. If he does end up moving on, I think Mazraoui could be a decent option because once again, he's an experienced professional, and as a backup option, it wouldn't really hurt much if you're going to be ending up paying about 12 or 16 million for that player. Like if you're going in for, and I think for a backup right back or for a backup fullback, paying 12 to 16 million isn't that odd. I think it's a very good deal to get someone like him. And
wash your hands of it. It's like Wan-Bissaka goes for 15 million, you sign him for and it's kind of a wash, isn't it? Really?
Exactly. And once again, I think, and I've seen this the past 2 seasons itself. Ten Hag does like offensive fullbacks a lot more than defensive ones, and we've seen a lot of occasions that whenever Dalot is fit and Wan-Bissaka is fit as well, he prefers Dalot every single time. He wants to have someone who's able to create those overloads on the flanks much better. He wants his fullbacks to progress forward, and even if they are not as sound defensively, he wants them to be at it when it comes to their attacking game. So, I think even if it's not Mazraoui or someone else, I think Wan-Bissaka would be moving on this window. And personally, I think as a starter, I'm much more confident with Dalot this season. I think Dalot can be much better this season. The way he played for us last season, and the way he improved throughout the course of that last season, I expect a lot more from him this season. So I would say if you don't let go of Wan-Bissaka, I'm happy. If he goes and we end up signing someone like a Mazraoui or someone else, I would still be happy. But just need to be very, very, very careful that if Wan-Bissaka does end up leaving, we need to get someone else in to be a backup. We don't want to be in another position like last season where, one fullback gets injured, you're out of fullbacks.
Yeah, and the left back is still a question mark as well at this minute because we don't know where Malacia is
Exactly.
at. Is Shaw going to be fit? So there's a lot of issues.
How long is Shaw going to be fit?
Exactly. So yeah, there's big questions on the full backs at the minute. So the right back didn't seem like a priority position to me, but apparently if Wan-Bissaka is going to go, we are going to have to sign somebody. So yeah, it's going to be interesting anyway. There's a little bit. I've just seen it from Romano on the Sancho thing. Jadon Sancho is indeed on PSG's list. It all depends on what Man United want to do and ask for. So that's from Romano. So there's something to the legitimacy. Whether he's agreed terms or not, I don't know. Romano doesn't mention that, but that's what he said. So yeah, that's a bit of an interesting thing. Sticking with sort of European and midfielders, we're speaking about Wesley Fofana. So obviously PSG, Ugarte, we've not really heard much going on. There's some sort of sticking point in the price. PSG is sticking to, I think, 70 million euros they want for Ugarte, which is ridiculous for a guy they bought for the same price. He's barely played. But I think that's to help fund João Neves, obviously, who that's what they're trying to do. So it seems like United are going, well, if you're just going to be fucking around, much like we have done with Branthwaite, if you're going to fuck around, we're going to pivot and we're going to go somebody else. And it seems like Wesley Fofana is that guy. Romano said, Man United do appreciate Monaco field the use of Fofana, but AC Milan are firmly in the lead, having agreed personal times, but nothing is advanced. Could we do a Joshua Zirkzee here, Shreyas, and sign Wesley Fofana from underneath Yousef Fofana, not Wesley Fofana. What the fuck am I saying Wesley Fofana for? Yousef Fofana from underneath their nose. Another player yet again. I've seen rumours as well where it's a 25 million release clause, but apparently you could get him for less. You get him for 18 million, which seems like an absolute bargain to me. Like that seems ridiculous. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, if you cannot sign in, if you don't get Ugarte in, much better to piss PSG off in the same process and get a player in. Personally, I don't think Ugarte should be going for 70. Like you mentioned, he's not played as many games. I think on a cutthroat deal as well, at max it should go to 50-55 at max. But apart from that, I think Fofana, like you mentioned, I think he's a decent player. Once again, like Ugarte, he's a hybrid midfielder, can function as a 6, can function as a 8, has got a very good engine on him, isn't as mobile as Ugarte, but he's much more of, he's not really a ball distributor. He's someone who is much more good at, holding the midfield line. So if he does end up coming to United, provides a lot more stability to the midfield because he knows how to hold that midfield line. He knows when to progress and when to just stay back. Provides a lot more discipline if he's playing in the double pivot alongside Kobe Menu. So if he comes, he can slot right into this team and bring a lot more. Bring a lot to it. And for the price that is being mentioned, like 25 to 18 million, once again, it's a bargain deal. And I think with the way we actually pulled the Zirkzee deal with AC Milan being on as advanced stages as they were at that point, I think it will be a much easier deal to go in for someone like Fofana right now. If they want, they can hijack this deal. And right now,
Yoro as well. We did it to Yoro.
Yeah,
Real Madrid.
Yeah. So, and once again, a good thing about Fofana, if he ends up joining United right now, is he has a very good chance of actually making himself a go-to starter in this team right now. Because in that midfield, there is one slot that is completely open right now. Meno is a sure shot starter. Bruno is a sure shot starter. But that third midfield position is still open. Whether it will be Casemiro, whether it will be Ugarte or someone like Fofana, nobody knows. But that spot is absolutely open right now. If he does come in, has a couple of good performances, he can easily get a start, or a good run of 10 to 15 games. Something that Amrabat couldn't get. I think he's got a much better shot of actually getting that in a United shirt.
And I think again, like we said this at the beginning of the summer. Like United are not going to be signing big, massive fee players. Like I know we paid quite a lot for Lenny Yoro, but I've been described as a once in a generation talent. Sometimes you do have to pay these things. There's a reason why João Neves is going for the amount of money he is, because he's a generational talent. So
for an 18, 19-year-old, it is still a bit understandable as to why you would go in for someone like, for a fee of that amount. If it was a 30, 35-year-old, Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Which is what we've done in the past as well, which is
Yeah.
insane. Yeah, we seem to be not shopping in the bargain bin in terms of the shit that nobody wants, just in terms of price, people in the last year of the deals, possible free transfers, stuff like that. I think that's the way we're going to operate, obviously, because of FFP and restrictions and stuff. We're going to go back to the comments and we'll move on to the next bit. Richard Hawkins, is Fofana good enough for the Prem? I think he is. From what I've seen, I think he's a good player. He's decent. He's 24, isn't he? Is he younger? 24, 25?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's still got room to adapt and learn and grow, I think. So I think for 18 million, I think you've got to try. I think it's a deal to be done. That really
He'd
is.
be cheaper than Amrabat.
Exactly. I don't know why we didn't do the Amrabat deal from Richard. Well, I think Sky Sports put something out today, basically saying they're still in talks about a fee, that United are not just going to pay the 20 million that was set up in the previous regime.
It's not absolutely off right now. It can still happen. Just United are quite fixated that they'll stick to 13, 14 million, not go on top of that.
This deal to buy him for 20 was set up by Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh, and you saw how well that went. Yeah. Even in the apparently in the Mason Greenwood, 20% of the fee goes to Getafe due to the loan. It's absolutely mad. Like, why the fuck was that?
What a loan?
Yeah, because they loaned him to us. So when we sold him, they get 20% of the fee. Getafe. It's mental. That's John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold left over.
So for selling a player who we loaned out to them, who actually belongs to us, they are going to get a sell-on fee.
They're going to get 20%. Yeah. That is John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold.
We can genuinely do a much better job. Like, genuinely, we can do a much better job.
They were fucking idiots, these John Murtaugh, but they're gone now. That's just basically the last vestige of like the leftover from their bullshit. So yeah, just I saw that today and I was like, for fuck's sake, man, like ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, they're talking about Amrabat, so I think that's something that possibly could happen if we can get Fofana, Amrabat for under 30 million for both. That's fucking a hell of a deal. That I think that's fantastic. And then you say sign Rabiot on a free. That's three midfielders for 30 million. Like easy, fucking easy.
Yeah, and you still got you get them in. You've already got Mount. You've already got Bruno. You've already got Minu. You've already got Casemiro. Yeah, so you've got
Collier as well stepping up.
Yeah, Collier is also going to. I think Collier will be heavily involved this season too. So for the first time, I would say midfield will genuinely have depth and good depth. Quality depth.
For once. Yeah. More last bit of the comments and then we'll move on to the next story. Depends what is important to you, guess. In the FA Cup, he showed Amrabat. He could be, absolutely. Those last 3-4 games, I saw the Amrabat that I wanted to see. Yeah. And in the FA Cup final, especially, he's fantastic. I thought he was brilliant, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll get our money back ×3 on Euro. Possibly, man. When Madrid come in, we definitely could do that.
Oh, yep, definitely.
Absolutely, Richard. That's priceless in a position we need 2 players for. Rich Hawkins, idiots. Thank God they're gone. I think he's in reference to John Murtaugh, Richard Arnold. Absolutely. My Damien, honestly, I thought that story was a joke. Yeah, it's not a joke. It's a genuine story. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. Matt Millen, clearly we're desperate to get Greenwood out last season. Promised Getafe some compensation if they took him. Maybe nobody wanted him, and Arnold panicked. Yeah, clearly some panicking going on there. That is.
They only panicked. Yeah. It was never it was never a moment when they were composed. Any deal, any moment, they just panicked, and I think they just love to actually travel to Spain. Any chance or any excuse they got
on the private jet, and just fucking spend the money, our money. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
I digress. Right, there was a little bit of thing, and then we'll get on to the Dan Ashworth quote. And if you guys have got any questions, put them in the comments. Drop them in. Me and Shreyas will answer them. Don't have to be football related. Whatever you want, we'll answer them. But one little thing. Goalkeeper Radek Vitek and Joe Hugel are set to depart on loan after getting a chance in the club's pre-season tour United States. Shreyas, I think those two, apart from Toby Collier, who I think is going to get a chance in the first team, those two stood out for me in the last sort of game, especially Vitek against Rosenborg. Some really good saves, kept us in the game for most of it. And then Joe Hugel with a fantastic goal against Rangers, like off the bar and then like fantastic. And he was clearly speaking to Ruud and getting some advice from him. Good that they're going on loan, get some experience, and then come back to United, hopefully break in.
I think definitely. I think both of them have still got a lot of experience and a lot of development to actually undergo. And I think with Hugel, you've got a very good setup, I would say, because scored a very good goal. I think he was on loan last year as well in the second half of the season.
Yep.
So, and once again, from how I've actually seen him play, he looks like that, that striker, who, if you take a good look at him, doesn't really seem as agile or mobile, but the way he's able to, rotate around his body and actually, get the ball, open the face of his body and go for a shot, he can actually, be a very, very good addition to the team. I think it is still a couple of years in the process that he, would be involved at that level at United, but he's a very good prospect. And the kind of abilities that he's got in his game right now, I would say, he's not I think even if he has a career at United, he's not a flashy striker.
No.
He's going to be a very scrappy striker who, those sort of strikers who just know how to get the job done.
Number 9, isn't he? Pure number 9.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So he's, that sort of a striker. So it does excite me a lot, because if you compare him to Xerxes, very different. Compare him to Højlund, very, very, very different. So if he is able to progress quite well, if he is able to develop quite well, I think he can be a very good addition. And with Vitek, I think if he's not sold like Kovar was, it can be a very good bench option as a second choice.
Still pisses me off about the fact that we sold Kovar, but I have to let it go, don't I? I'm still not about James Garner, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Man United is set to give Toby Collier a chance in the first team this season after catching the eye of manager Erik ten Hag. I think he's caught my eye as well. I really liked what I've seen in 2 games. Seems composed, calm, much like Kobbie Mainoo, very chilled, very just composed, does what he needs to do. Very tidy player. Do you think good move that he's going to be the next guy to sort of break through next season?
I think, yeah. And personally, I think it was last season that Ten Hag mentioned he wants 2 players every single year from the academy to actually, come through and be a part of this team. So moving on that course, I think it's a very good call. And I really hope that, the 2 additions that would be made this season into this team from the academy, if they can, blossom like Garnacho has, if they can blossom like Mainoo has, we've got a very good setup coming on from the youth. And that is something that United haven't had in the past few years. It's been 3 or 4 years that we actually get one decent player in from the academy, and we needed a change of pace, and finally we are seeing it at the club.
Especially in midfield as well. It's been a while since we've had midfielders come through. I know we've had Scott McTominay, but like top quality midfielders, it's been a while since United have produced one. Like you thinking back to days of like Scholes, Nicky Butt and stuff like that, since we like produced an academy type midfielder, but we'll should see what happens with that. Questions in the chat. Let's have a look. Could we bring in a left back on loan for the season? From Richard. I'll let Shreyas answer this in a minute. My thoughts. Possible. I saw some bits about possibly bringing Reguilon back, which wouldn't be the worst idea, in my opinion. Like I thought he was all right, but it just depends on the fitness of Alassio. It depends on the fitness of Luke Shaw, and then it depends on what we're going to do with Harry Amas. Depends what happens with him. But Shreyas, what do you think?
I don't see us getting someone in on loan. I think if we get someone in, it would be a permanent deal. A loan doesn't really look likely in my eyes, because like you mentioned, we've still got Shaw, we've still got Malacia. And apart from that, like you mentioned, Harry Amas, there was this left back called Murray, who was playing in the last game as well. I think
he looked good.
He looked quite decent. He looked quite decent. So there is a lot of potential there in those left backs. But I still think if you get someone in, you need to let go of one of Luke Shaw or Malacia, because you can't be in a situation where you've got Shaw, Malacia, Amas, Murray, and then another 5th player in. So you need to have a workaround, because you don't want to hamper the growth of these young players as well, because both of them, I would say, they can be very, very good players with the kind of potential that they've got.
And we let fucking Alvaro Fernandez go as well, which again, another one that annoyed me. These like players that I think are going to be quality, and we let them go, but it is what it is. Out of curiosity, Simon Shreyas, I'd like to hear your opinions on who guys would be the next 3 incoming realistic signings. Give us 3, Shreyas. Who do you think next 3?
Next 3, I think it will be Ugarte.
Yeah,
I think Ugarte will be coming in. Apart from that, who are we even linked to now? uh,
De Ligt, you think it happens?
I think De Ligt happens. I think De Ligt.
Yeah.
I think De Ligt will happen. Any. I don't think it will happen. It might not be the next couple of signings, but I think by the time this transfer window ends, De Ligt will be in because we definitely need another centre back. I personally hope that we get another fullback in as that third signing. I really hope so because I think attacking wise we sorted. If Ugarte comes in the midfield too, we are sorted. It's only the defensive side that I'm still quite questionable about because I don't know that we are as strong when it comes to that left back position.
Yeah.
So I think Ugarte will definitely be in. De Ligt will definitely be in. Maybe Amrabat could still be on the cards.
Possible.
Maybe Rabiot could still be on the cards. Later going into the window because he'll be available on a free.
Yep.
So there is still a lot of directions this transfer window can actually go. It depends. I think it will depend more on Ineos as to what they find is a more important position to actually fill in. Whether it's a left back position, they tend to seem that it is more important. Whether they think that we still require more reinforcements in the midfield, or whether it's a position where they go that we can't really rely on just Rashford and Garnacho. We still need another attacker, and maybe we go in for another attacker by the end of this transfer window. So that third signing can go anywhere, and I think it will depend a lot more on the kind of outgoings that might happen or might not happen.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think Ugarte and De Ligt will definitely in. I think Ugarte will definitely be in.
Yeah, interesting. I definitely agree with that. I think De Ligt, I think Ugarte, whatever way around you want to do it, and then probably a fullback. I don't know who, but I think maybe a left or a right back, depending on what happens with Wan-Bissaka. But see. I'm more interested in what you can get out of the door at the moment. Totally confident in your team can replace them with quality and depth if we do. Again, we need to sell. Sale is important. Shaw hasn't been the same since the leg breaks. I agree. Love Luke Shaw, but fitness worries me. I think, all the same. The only thing, Jay, is Rashford plays a lot better when you have a left back like him going forward. Yeah, it brings the best out of Rashford, but when he's not available, that's then two players who are not playing well because one of them isn't fit. So it's kind of a mess there. I think De Ligt, Ugarte, another left back or centre midfield. I don't trust Mount's fitness at all. Shaw never plays for me. Shaw is the best around when fit. A universal fullback would be ideal. Not too many of them talking about them. But what are your thoughts on Maxi Oli Deli? I've not really seen enough of him. I couldn't make an educated comment. So
me neither. I think the only person who's impressed me in midfield has been Collier. With the way he's playing, I think Collier has impressed me. Like I mentioned, that left back Murray, he genuinely impressed me a lot. He looked that he had a good grip on the game.
He's ready, man. He's ready.
I think he's like, if this next season started and Sean Malacia once again off, I think he should be the first one in that left back position. Amas is definitely someone who you can look at, like you mentioned, Hugill, Wittek as well. I think a couple of other players maybe might be included, but these look like the one. I think Murray, Amas, Collier look like the ones that you would say that one of these three will definitely be involved heavily next season.
I agree. Right, we're going to do a quick little game to finish. We're going to get Shreyas' thought. He's only going to be able to give us a rating out of 10 on transfer rumours, ins and outs. And then we're going to see. He's not allowed to explain what his thing is. He's not allowed to say anything. He's just going to give us a rating out of 10. We're going to go through the players. And if you guys want to join in, put your rating in the comments as well. And we'll read them out at the end. Matt Millen, it's so sad about Dango. Yeah, shoulder surgery sucks, man. But he'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be fine. Right. Out of 10, Shreyas, this is the likelihood of this transfer happening. So let's start with a big one. Manuel Ugarte. Out of 10.
9.
9 out of 10. Scott McTominay leaving.
10.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the only one who can, raise funds for us right now.
De Ligt.
7.
7 out of 10. Casemiro leaving.
6.
6 out of 10. Interesting. This newest one. Matswari. Likelihood.
4.
4 out of 10. That's pretty, Wan-Bissaka leaving.
8.
8 out of 10. Interesting. Yeah, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. That is the transfer rumours for today. I'm not going to include Jadon Sancho on there just because I think it's hard to gauge at this point. Because,
every hour
it's ridiculous.
something
And
different comes out about it.
I'm not going to include the Bruno one, which was debunked by Romano today as well, so which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate your support as always. We will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure who it will be. It's probably not going to be me, but somebody will be back tomorrow with a news story, or a transfer show. And obviously, if something kicks off live, which in the last couple of weeks, anything to go by, it may happen. We will be back for that as well. But Shreyas, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No worries. And we will see everybody
Just
tomorrow.
refresh Twitter once.
Yes, just keep
Twitter
refreshing
once.
Twitter.
I'm gonna do once.
Let me just double check. Let me go to Romano or Ornstein and let me just double check. Because if we go off live and it's United have signed
Yeah,
or something,
in the next couple of seconds it gets announced. Ugarte, personal terms agreed.
You absolute bastards. I'm just having a scan now. I can't see anything. No, I think we're good. I think we're all right. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. But yeah, follow all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I think we're on Facebook, but we don't really use it. Follow all the socials on there. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video. Leave a comment. Leave a comment with the 3 signings you think will be in next, or leave the ratings on the players that we mentioned at the end of the game. We thank you all for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah.